Luke Kuechly was recently interviewed on the Kay Adams show, and I think it raises a pretty interesting topic and conversation. Basically, the question was, who would you rather have as your quarterback in their prime, Cam Newton or Lamar Jackson? Now, on paper, I feel like the numbers would be pretty close, and even from an eye test perspective, some would say maybe it's close, some others wouldn't, but I feel like if you're under the age of 20, I feel like everyone would definitely pick Lamar Jackson. But if you're over the age of 21 and you don't pick prime Cam Newton, I know it's just my opinion, but I would be pretty disappointed in you. It's again 2015 Cam Newton. That MVP year was something else. Yes, Lamar Jackson is obviously very electric, and he's had two MVPs, right? And I know that would be definitely an argument if you did choose Lamar Jackson over Cam Newton. Lamar has had two MVPs compared to Cam Newton's one. But man, I just prime Cam Newton. I mean, he took that team in 2015 to the Super Bowl. And by the way, they only lost one game in the regular season. Cam Newton almost had an undefeated MVP type of year back in 2015, 2016. Listen, Lamar Jackson's MVP years were good. I'd say his first one was definitely better than his most recent one, but besides the previous year, the farthest he's taken the Ravens is the AFC Championship. He hasn't even come close to a Super Bowl. I really don't think that AFC Championship game really was that close. I know it was, but he played completely terribly in that game. Like honestly, compare Cam Newton's 2015 NFC Championship game against the Arizona Cardinals at home and compare Lamar Jackson at home versus the Chiefs. End of discussion right there. I don't care. End of discussion right there. Not only that, but Cam Newton also played in an era where you could actually hit the quarterbacks. I know Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton have a different running style. Lamar Jackson is obviously a lot more slippery than Cam. He avoids defenders a lot more than Cam, but Cam was just a freak of nature back then. And like I said, back then you could actually hit the quarterbacks. I'll never forget the game after the Super Bowl, week 1, Thursday night, Panthers at the Broncos. Cam Newton took like 6 spears to the head, 6 headshots to the head, did not complain once to the refs. I'm telling you, ball 8 years ago, 9 years ago, it was just a different game, dude. It was a really different game. You could actually hit quarterbacks back then. You can't hit quarterbacks now. You just can't. So I feel like the question in itself isn't really fair if you look at it from that perspective, just because it's different eras. And I know that might sound bold to some of you, but truly, if you're really watching the games and you're really paying attention to how defenders can actually play ball, it's different eras. I don't care. You could actually hit and not get penalized back then. I'd say since 2018, 2019, the game has just gone a lot more softer, and it is what it is, but yeah, man. And another argument would be, oh, Lamar Jackson hasn't had a lot of weapons. He's had no help. Well, what about 2015 with Cam Newton? His number one receiver was Kelvin Benjamin. I don't know if anyone remembers Kelvin Benjamin, but he had about a couple of good years with the Panthers, and once Cam was done with him, he was essentially done with football because he's just not that talented and he loves to eat his food. Besides that, he did have Greg Olson and Devin Funches. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. Funches had potential, but he only had like a good year or two. And besides that, really did not much with his NFL career, unfortunately. I'm telling you, Cam did not have a lot of help either. So, any Lamar Jackson defenders in this topic, I just feel like that argument doesn't really count because both guys have not had great supporting staff. So, I just feel like you can't really use that as an argument. In Lamar Jackson's 2019 MVP year, he had 3,127 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, with an 113.3 passer rating. 2015 Cam MVP year, passer rating of 99.4 with 3,837 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 10 picks. Similar stats for sure. Obviously, Cam had more passing yards, but if you look at it from that perspective, it is pretty similar. So, I mean, honestly, man, if you are one of those people listening right now and you think Lamar MVP, Prime Lamar is better than Prime Cam, listen, man, at the end of the day, it's a subjective thing. If you really think Lamar is a better quarterback than Cam Newton, hey, man, fair play. You know, at the end of the day, both of those guys have 0 rings, so it is a subjective thing. In my opinion, it is a subjective thing. If it was Lamar Jackson versus like prime Aaron Rodgers or Joe Montana and you still pick Lamar Jackson, that's just asinine. But at the end of the day, Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson both have a combined 0 Super Bowl rings, so it is subjective. I'm just all about wins. I'm all about rings, and Cam Newton was definitely a hell of a lot closer than Lamar Jackson so far. Granted, Lamar Jackson can still get it done, but I'm telling you, my case and point is just 15-1. Nearly went undefeated in the Super Bowl in his MVP year. And again, if you want to take that element away, just go back and compare that championship games. NFC Championship at home against the Cardinals. Look what Cam Newton did to them. Complete monster of a game, blowout game, versus what Lamar Jackson recently did against the Chiefs at home. Case in point. End of discussion, but let me know what y'all think. Would you rather Prime Cam, Prime Lamar? Let me know. That's all I got for right now. Peace.